G'day, my name's Michael Pope, and if you're watching this, then I guess you missed the AGM conference that VicParks held on October the 27th, 2020. It was a great session. We had these fantastic associates who gave us a bit of an update about what they're on about. We met with 3 park owners. We gave away lots of prizes, and of course we had the AGM. I hope you enjoyed this slightly edited down version of the AGM mini conference 2020. Welcome, Scott. Tell me, how long have you been in the position at VicParks?
Started late February. So how many months is that? However long COVID's been going. Too long. 8 months, 9 months?
Absolutely too long. And in a nutshell, how have you found those months, Scott?
Well, extraordinary, really. It came off the back of so many parks being affected by the bushfires, and then pretty much straight into COVID-19. So I feel like I've probably done 2 or 3 years in the 9 months that I've been here, and the vast majority of that time has been in my salubrious study here at home. So one of the drawbacks over that period of time is that I haven't been able to get out and about and see people in person, but I hope we've helped overcome that a little bit with our communication along the road, with our webinars and in particular, but our snapshots and other things that where we've helped parks as much as possible in very trying circumstances for them. But Absolutely. No, it's been terrific. Great people, great committee of management, terrific leadership, great team, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know the industry even better. And as I say, get out and about, and over summer and the new year.
Yeah, I imagine therefore you'll be doing many more clicks next 2021 than you've been able to this year.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Well, you haven't been able to get out to meet the members, and consequently they haven't been able to meet you. So, Scott, I'm going to ask you 60 seconds of questions. Quick fire questions, quick fire answers. Are you ready?
Right. Yes, go.
Okay, big and loud, and go. Your mum's maiden name?
Kenny.
What's your shoe size?
10.
Favorite sport when you were at school?
Football, although I played a lot of basketball as well.
What's the furthest country that you've ever been to?
Well, I've been to the US and Europe.
That'll do. What's the colour of your lounge couch?
Beigey grey.
5 9s?
45.
What colour are your socks?
Black.
In your cutlery drawer, are the knives to the left or the right? Quick!
It keeps changing because I put them to the right and my wife puts them to the left. Good question.
How tall are you?
6'1" and a bit.
What was the name of your first girlfriend?
Oh, Joanna.
What's your wife's name?
Really?
What's the name of the street you grew up in?
Larbert Avenue.
Do you prefer swimming or cycling? 5 seconds left.
Cycling.
What's your PIN number? Oh, out of time. Well done. So there you go. Hopefully you got to know your CEO, Scott Parker, very well. All right, let us now quickly move on to Bianca Hearn from the Murray River Holiday Park. Now, what I'm going to do is spend just a couple of minutes with Bianca. Are you there, Bianca? If you'd like to say hello, we'll catch in. How are you traveling?
Yeah, we're going okay down here.
We caught up just last week about what we might talk about on this weekend, on this meeting, and your area. Tell us firstly where your area is and then how it's been impacted, particularly looking forward into the summer.
So I'm down in Moama, so probably more people know it as Echuca Moama. We are a border town, so Victoria and New South Wales. And we are smack bang. The checkpoint for the border is right at the front of our holiday park. And since that has been in place, we've been hugely impacted and have had basically nothing since July 8th. So yeah, we're just really looking forward to that opening, which we're hoping will be any time in the next couple of weeks now. So yeah.
You mentioned that the summer's not looking as good as you were hoping because of some cancellations.
Yeah, we've had 2 really big events cancelled that bring in around 18 million for the economy for Echuca Moama, both in February, one one weekend after another. So that's a huge blow to our business and a lot of other accommodation providers and the whole town. So we're just trying to think of what we can do to get people back in town and coming and staying, I guess. But we can't really plan or do anything until we know that this border is open and ready for business. So we've got a lot of tentative bookings in there for Christmas. We've taken no deposits or no payments until we have that security of the border being open. Then we can go ahead and start planning our summer. But yeah, it's just a waiting game at the moment.
It is a waiting game, and it's a very frustrating one. Get it off your chest. What's been the biggest frustration?
Probably, there's been little to no government assistance, and the grants have been really extremely hard to get. There's been a lot of red tape and hurdles. And just being on the border town, Gladys has really forgotten about border town. She says that she has our backs and everything, and that the border checkpoints won't be in longer than 1 day than what they're needed. But they've been in well and truly long enough. So yeah, that's been the most frustrating thing, is no answers or no planning from Gladys, so we can start our planning for our business.
Yeah. Well, I hope you do get clarity very soon, and so you are able to do that planning, and then your customers will come. What have you been doing in this downtime in preparation? Have you changed the sheets or anything?
Yeah, very little actually. We did, in the first round of lockdowns, we did a full complete renovation on our camp kitchen area. And this time round, we've been very careful about obviously not spending any money, because we just don't know when the end line or when the finish line will be for the border. So we've just been maintaining the park, keeping low. That's about it. Just some gardening, really. Yeah.
Well, I bet the gardens and the parks have never looked better. Bianca, I feel for you so much, as I'm sure everyone listening will. It appears that there's a range of people in the membership who have been, the way they've been affected ranges from very badly, it seems in your case, because of the position that you're in, through to people who have got great bookings, for this weekend, for the Cup weekend, because, their market is able to go there. So we feel for you. Thank you for sharing for us this morning, and fingers crossed that things do get better as quickly as they can.
Yeah, hopefully.
Cool. Thanks, Bianca. That was Bianca Hearn from Murray River Holiday Park. And now I want to introduce one of our fantastic, there we are, associates in CRE Brokers. Kevin Connolly, can you join us, please? Unmute yourself and join us, Kevin.
I hope I have.
Yes, you have indeed. How are you travelling, sir?
Terrific, Michael.
Fantastic.
Welcome to everyone.
Can you bring us up to speed for those who don't know about who CRE Brokers come from? Who's the C, the R and the E?
Well, it was originally Connolly Real Estate. And it was when the websites came into being, that we had to join the abbreviation of names and get on so we could get a website. So it became Connolly Real Estate, became CRE Brokers.
And how far back was that established?
Look, it started up originally in the early 80s, but CRE Brokers as a name would have been, I guess, early 90s, I guess. Right.
Let's talk about CRE Brokers now and the expertise that you have. And I've got two questions for you in these couple of minutes we have.
Sure.
Firstly, the state of the market. What's your assessment of the state of the market, particularly where it pertains to caravan parks?
Well, I don't have to dwell on, everyone's aware that, what problems we've faced this year, but just in a nutshell, we were hit with three big sledgehammers: the bushfires, followed up by the Banking Royal Commission, really put a downer on prospective buyers. They made it very, very difficult or large hurdles to jump for potential buyers to get financed, which impacted on the level or the number of sales that we could transact. And then, of course, COVID, that was the final knockout blow. So sales, look, CRE Victorian office, and we've got offices up and down the East Coast, but the Victorian office, we like to generally have about 30 deals on the board. Now, that's not all caravan parks. We sell motels and hotels and management rights and whatnot, but we'd like to have about 30 deals sitting on the board at any given time. We've continued to have those 30 deals as one, eventually sells or one drops off. We hope to replace it with another sale. We've continually had those, but what we've found is to get them from initial letter of offer to an unconditional contract is very, very difficult and painstakingly slow, especially if finance is required. And what used to be a normal due diligence period of 30 days is now stretched out to 120 days before any semblance of through DD, and especially getting your approval for finance. So that's been our biggest hurdles, which impacts on the caravan park owners, the members. That
are the buyers in the market? Are people still knocking on doors?
Yeah, no, there are. It's still a two-tiered market. There's still the very strong demand from the corporates, but the traditional mums and dads parks, as we call them, there are buyers around. But what we do first of all now is to try and pre-qualify the buyer and see if they've got their finance in order, or whether luckily they don't, or hopefully they don't need to get finance. They've sold their property or they've done whatever. So our biggest challenge is to pre-qualify the buyers at the moment. But there are a number of them out there. The numbers have thinned down, but I'm expecting now that the Federal Treasurer, Josh Frydenberg, has basically given the banks a kick up the backside and said, okay, look, you went too far, ease up a bit, and let's get the oil on the machinery and get the money out there so business can transact again.
Okay. And my last question is, everyone wants to know the value of their park. What's your feeling about the value of both freehold and leasehold parks at present?
Yeah, well, look, there haven't been a great deal that have transacted, to be honest, but the buyer inquiry is, I think there is a general dropping of the yields. How far that has dropped, I don't think we've got enough proof in the pudding, enough transactions to guide it. But what was a rule of thumb of a leasehold business selling roughly 3 to 4 times, or 3.5 to 4 times the maintainable net profit, that's probably slipped back to 3 to 3.5, from 3.5 to 4 times. And similarly with freeholds, there's probably a drop back, but not enough evidence to prove it one way or another. But I think that the yields have probably dropped back to now a freehold going concern, as long as it's not a beachfront property, but just a normal park, probably in the 11 to 15% capitalisation rate range, and that's probably slipped out a point. But as I say, I don't think there's enough. Have been enough transactions. There's been a couple of bigger ones, but they're with corporates who don't rely on bank finance, and they don't rely on it. So
okay.
I don't think we've got enough evidence to say that we have slipped back in price, put it that way. So that's encouraging.
It is a little bit of good news in an otherwise very troubled landscape at the moment. Just to wrap up, I believe you might have a gift or two for some of our members.
We have 2, and I wished I could win, because I tell you what, when we were allowed shop at Bunnings, I was there almost every day, and I reckon I ought to have shares in the company. But no, we've provided 2 Bunnings certificates, and hopefully it'll go to a worthy recipient. So well done.
Absolutely.
And thank you for having me on board.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. Kevin Connolly from CRE Brokers. Absolutely. We have 2 $100 vouchers to give away. Okay, get your thinking caps on. As you logged into the meeting, there was a word search there. In the word VicParks Conference, there was this clue. Some of you may have them in your park, VicParks Conference. This is not for a prize, but if you've worked it out, put it in the chat box right now. No one's taking it up. The answer is conifer. Nice one. Rock faces. No, it's rockeries is the one that I had. This one, there is no doubt, because you'll see where the gaps are. Okay, so stand by, as you can start guessing as soon as it comes up on the screen. All right. The question is, with those letters, VicParks Conference, be the first to answer this question. Lions, dogs, and eagles are all what? The letters are there. What are they? Lions, dogs, and eagles are all, I'm looking for the word. Obviously, it has to end in an O and an S. Carnivores, there it is. Tom Bennett. Congratulations. Lorraine, if you can keep track of this, please. Tom Bennett was first on carnivores. You've got a $100 voucher, courtesy of CRE Brokers. And I have one more $100 Bunnings voucher to give to you. Stand by. Firstly, there's the answer, carnivores. This is the next one. You wouldn't want to do this to your tomatoes. VicParks Conference, there are the letters. You wouldn't want to do this to your tomatoes. Overripen, there it is. Nance and Steve. Oh, no. Helen Jeggers. Helen Jeggers, congratulations. $100 Bunnings voucher to you, courtesy of CRE Brokers. We certainly have got an AGM, and it's appropriately that I should throw to our president at this stage. Welcome, Steve. Welcome to the event.
This is a whole new brave world for us, I guess, not only as an AGM for VicParks, but a digital AGM. So we're going to give our very best shot and work our way through. But first of all, this is a statutory formality, so we must get it underway today to satisfy government regulations. I'll try and keep it as short as possible so we can get back to something that's far more entertaining, like winning prizes. But in any case, I extend a welcome to everybody, and in particular to our new CEO, Scott Parker, who I think everybody will agree has done a fantastic job in his baptism of fire over the last 9 months. And he mentioned to me the other day, he felt as though he's done a couple of years at VicParks, but really only knows people by what they look like on a screen. So we'll endeavour to get that change for you, Scott, and get you out amongst the members and meeting people instead of just looking at them on a square tube. Apart from that, we'll go straight into the apologies, and I have apologies from Jenny Hyder-Smith, Peter Talentire and Yvonne Milsom, Kathy and Les Hine, Joanne Holt, and Alan and Helen Pettifer. And if there's any other apologies, if you just put them into the chat screen, that'd be great, because we are being recorded, and we'll get them from there. You have been circulated a pack various times via email, which is the minutes of the 2019 annual general meeting. And I'll just ask, are there any questions arising from the minutes? And if you go to participants or put your hand up there, I'm sure we can answer it for you. I'm just looking, doesn't look like any hands. So on that basis, we'll accept the minutes from last year as adopted. We received number 5, the President's annual report incorporating the Chief Executive Officer's report. And to try and speed this up so nobody goes to sleep, we've done a quick PowerPoint for you, and we'll incorporate that in, please, Mike, if you would. Thank you. A very quick snapshot of our Victorian Park membership. We have just on 502 members made up of those demographics. Our financial position is looking fairly healthy. 2020 has been an interesting year. We incurred some expenses for our conference, which have all been carried over to the next year for the conference. And I know people will be looking down at the bottom left-hand corner under 2020 and say, how come our operating surplus is too high or so high? Well, we've got some COVID payments in there, which came up to around about $65,000. Scott, one of our employees, our field officer, left us, so we've reduced our costs down in that regard. And we've got some prepaid conference income from our sponsors, which they've agreed to carry over. So We're expecting next year it won't look anywhere near as rosy as that. I think that'd be fair to say, Scott. But that's our position as of June 30 of this year. Okay, your Committee of Management this year, as pictured up there, we say goodbye to Adrienne Cove, who has not elected not to nominate this year, but I've been twisting her arm and working on her to consider next year. But I'd like to particularly thank Sam Cohen, Adrienne, Mig Del Rio, Josh Hellings, Roger and Praddy for their work during the year. What's been a very, very challenging and difficult year. I know Adrienne would love to get more physical meetings down in Melbourne. I suspect so she can go shopping, but we've done everything by Zoom and teleconference. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for an outstanding job for the year. So thank you for that. Your Divisional Council. I'm not sure we've had very many Divisional Council meetings over the last 7 months, but they're listed up there. And once again, our Divisional Councils are the lifeline and the lifeblood of VicParks. And we'll be certainly looking at resurrecting those in the new year when we kick off, or indeed when COVID says we're allowed to. But in the meantime, thank you to our Divisional Council and our delegates for your support during the year. Scott, would you like to have a chat about this one?
Yeah, they're interesting highlights in inverted commas there. We just put up a couple of key ones there. I think it's important for people to know what happened in the industry across the 12 months. The number of overnight trips and visitor nights were drastically impacted by the last quarter. And so we've got a drastic reduction in those raw numbers. All age groups saw declines. I think we're not telling anybody on this conference why that was. We all know that. Prior to COVID hitting, the 9 months of the year, there was about a 12% increase in overnight trips. So the Victorian caravan park industry as a sector within Victorian tourism was going extremely well until the last quarter of the year. So there's good reason to believe that that foundation is still there. And when you add pent-up demand, we're all expecting, I know, a terrific summer and obviously a much better 12 months ahead, albeit when we're sitting here in 12 months' time and you see you're heading your industry 2021, it again is going to be affected by COVID's impact in the first 3, 4, 5 months of this year. But that's how it lands, and onwards and upwards.
Done. Thanks, Scott. Next slide, please, Mike. I think that's merely indicative of what's been happening during COVID, Scott.
Yeah, so it's another way of showing what we just saw on the left there. The other one shows the quarterly impact. So the last blue column shows June 2020, the June quarter 2020, and it butts up against the June quarter 2019. So you can see the upward trend in the 4 June quarters prior to 2020 and the drastic decline for reasons we know. So another graphical representation of the foundation, the strong foundation the industry found itself in until June this year.
Okay, the year in review. What a year it's been. Delighted that we managed to engage Scott when we did. Scott, on behalf of the members, I just want to publicly thank you for the work that you have done over the last 9 months. It's been absolutely outstanding. Under really, really difficult circumstances, you've brought a whole new dimension to what we do. And I thought, I was thinking about it last night. You came in at the bushfires, straight into COVID. I reckon I could recognise every book on your bookcase behind you now. We've had so many Zoom meetings, but you've just shown the strengths and the support that you've given us has been absolutely outstanding. I don't know how many snapshots we put out over the last 9 months, but I'm tipping it's probably more in the last 9 months than in the last 9 or 10 years. So
about 140, I think, Steve.
Unbelievable. They have been so informative, and I've only just got positive feedback from our members in relation to that. And I thank you for that. It's just been an outstanding effort. So once again, much appreciated.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Done. Moving on to the year in review, very strong fundamentals. Our financials are under control. The impact of the bushfires, impact of COVID-19 I thought at some stage there we were looking in really, really shaky ground, but the support of our membership in paying their fees has been outstanding. And that in turn has managed to engage successful lobbying and advocacy on behalf of all our members. Part of that was a 1 June reopening, and which was done through both formal and informal channels through our lobbyists and indeed representations to government. And Scott, that has been under your leadership, which has been fantastic. Thank you for that. Be fair to say we certainly have a new government relationship underway now, and for a long while there we had some difficulty getting in to see government, but indeed with our new lobbyists and with your support, Scott, we've managed to penetrate that veneer and got through and right to the ministers, which has been fantastic. Our ongoing advocacy is all about reopening, and I think we're a week out with our predictions, Scott, in relation to opening up all parks. We were aiming for, around about the 1st of November. Looks like being about the 8th of November now, but the way the government's been changing the goalposts of late, that could be any time in the next 2 weeks, so we'll keep pressing on that. I'd like to think we were instrumental in the cancellation refund scheme version 2 and 3. I know a lot of our members have got a great deal of support from that. We've really cranked up the residential land lease advocacy because that is such a growing part of our association, indeed of our industry. We've been advocating and representing and negotiating on the Crown Lands Legislation Amendment Bill, and of course the bushfire grants. So lots of things happening at VicParks. And I guess a big announcement is that from the 1st of November, VicParks has a new office. And Scott, would you like to quickly give us a quick overview of the office, if you would?
Yes, so we've got a lease at Wellington Road, Mulgrave. It's a fantastic spot, level 1, 195 Wellington Road, Mulgrave. Terrific spot that we're concluding the fit out on at the moment. It will represent VicParks in a very professional way. It'll be a more functional space for us. It'll include a boardroom, so the Committee of Management will be comfortably housed when it meets. Lots of different options of catering and so forth for both staff and whoever's visiting the office at any stage. We're really, we think we're going to be terrifically housed, and we'll be proud of that office and what it says about this industry. As I say, the fit out's about to conclude. We've got 12 months rent-free on the agreement, which is a sign of the times. We've been able to take advantage of that, and we'll move in whenever the Premier allows us to conclude working from home. So I know all the staff are looking forward to it.
Great, thanks, Scott. And the other thing is, my understanding, we're in the technology estate out there, and so we should have really good Wi-Fi and internet connection out there. I'm looking forward to that, just for a way of a change. So be a lot more digital meetings coming out of that meeting in the future. So Mike, if we go to the next slide, please. Okay, just following on the year in review, members will be hopefully aware that we've upgraded our snapshots and our insider news with a new format. They're both works in progress. The 2019 conference, we had 300 attendees, including exhibitors, which was a great number. We have a partnership in place with RMS. Residential Tenancies Act and regulations. I know this will put people to sleep, but it's such an important part of what we do. We're in negotiations and advocacy in relation to mooted changes to the regulations and the Act. New member training, we put through 178 through our regional workshops last year and 9 at our new member training day. They obviously had to be suspended because of COVID, but I think that's an outstanding achievement for the start of the year. And just finally, industry promotion. Everyone says now we're over print media, but we still managed to get rid of 100,000 caravan and camping guides at the various shows, which I think is an outstanding effort. And we've had a new emphasis on our Facebook and social media pages. So we're trying hard on that as well. Scott, priorities for 2021.
So the key work for us to do, both myself and the Committee of Management, is to finalise a revised strategic plan that'll set the direction for the next 3 years. It won't be a document that sits on anybody's shelf. It'll be the document that guides the organisation from here until the end of that 3-year period. We're very cognizant of the fact that we'll need to engage further with members or member representatives before we finalise that plan. But at this stage, the executive have had a good look at a couple of early drafts. The Committee of Management have done likewise, and we're pretty satisfied that we're likely to hit the mark, particularly based on the survey results that so many of you completed for us, and thank you for that, where you'd indicated to us where we were doing particularly well, where there were some challenges that we needed to work harder on, and where you thought our priorities should lie. So again, thank you for that. It's really helped set the scene for some quality discussions around some early draft work with the strategic plan. As Steve said, the new office is nearly with us. We're keen in future to ensure that we're ahead of the game with protecting members' interests with issues that are impacting on the on members' environment. So it's a different prospect for us. Perhaps in the past we've been cognizant of issues as they've been presented to us, as opposed to perhaps being a couple of steps ahead. I've got some background in that area in corporate affairs and public affairs, and I'd like to think we can resource the office to ensure we're ahead of the game, which enables us to influence decision makers a bit earlier and hope for quality results that way. We're going to, at the same time, we'll strengthen relationships not only with members and all our members, not just park members, certainly our associates as well, and our residential land lease sector, but political, industry and allied organisations like the REIV and the Victorian Farmers Federation and others, where there's a common interest to optimise those relationships is going to be very important, again, for quality outcomes for our membership. We want to do better in the digital front. I think the websites get old pretty quickly. I know ours is not all that old, but there's probably work that we can do in establishing a better digital footprint, including a new member portal and a new public-facing website, and will be more prominent through various digital channels in the future. And we want to improve our data capture, both industry and member, and the analysis and understanding of that data, and certainly the reporting of that data back to our industry. We're fairly rudimentary there. We've got a great support arm with the Caravan Industry Association of Australia, who do a lot of fantastic industry research for us. But we want to get down and dirty in that space a lot more, and some much better focus, as I say, on membership data capture, so we understand our industry and who we're representing a little better than we do today. And as we've said a couple of times, I'm looking forward to, in a post-COVID environment, getting out and about and meeting a lot more of you, Steve.
Great, thanks, Scott. So just finally, next slide, please, Mike. Just a formal thank you to everybody at the VicParks office. Scott, that you've led the team unbelievably well. The team have been working from home for, I think, about 7 months now. They've done a remarkable job under challenging circumstances. So thank you to everybody at the VicParks office. Special mention to our legal counsel, Peter Crawford, because I know that he's been your right-hand man, Scott, over the last 7 months. And Peter has had the ability to get the Chief Health Officer's directives 11 o'clock on a Sunday night and be working on them so they're fresh on the desk 7 a.m. the following morning, ready to go. I'd like to thank the Committee of Management for their work as well. Rogerson Kenny, to Mark and Rob Dayton and the team at Rogerson Kenny, who have now come on as our accountants. Since Scott, your appointment, we've saw some opportunities there to professionalise the way that we run the association. So they've come on as our accountants. Special mention to RMS, who entered into a commercial relationship with, and indeed all our park associate, affiliate and life members. Thank you for supporting your association and indeed our industry. Scott, on that basis, do you want to do item 8, which is a statement of purposes now, or do you want to hold that over to the end?
I think we can do the 2 elections of office bearers and committee members, and then we'll do the purposes and rules changes with the other 2 resolutions that we need to vote on.
Terrific, thank you. So on that basis, then, Scott, I formally step down as president and thank members for their support over the last numbers of years, and hand over the chair to you.
So the item is item 9, the election of office bearers. And on the basis that the nominations were the same as the number of vacancies, no election or vote is required. And therefore, I'm pleased to announce that Steve Bartlett and Sam Cohen are confirmed as our President and Vice President, respectively.
Done. Thanks, Scott. We'll get you to do the item 10, committee members.
The election of committee members, and similarly, the number of nominees were the same as the number of vacancies. So those nominated, David Pratt and Kate Stones, are duly elected to the Committee of Management.
Done. Thank you very much. And for the shortest period ever of standing down, I'll take the mantle back over and move on if we can. Thanks, Scott. And just finally, members, we've got 3 special resolutions that we need your vote on if we can. The first one is in relation to a change to the statement of purposes and rules be amended as proposed in the marked up copy accompanying the notice of the AGM. We don't propose to go through that other than to say each year we try and fine tune our constitution or our rules or statement of purposes to ensure that we comply with government policy and indeed as various things come along. This one is basically some housekeeping to ensure that our statement of rules are compliant, and I commend those to you to support. The second one is in relation to a change of auditor. Part of the process that we've been doing over the last 9 months with Scott is, as I said before, professionalising your association. We've moved away, we have appointed an independent accountant to look after and oversee our financial affairs, where in the past it was done by our auditor. Recognising that that was not a good move and good governance moves in a contemporary society, we've separated those 2 roles, and we have appointed Rogers and Kenny as our accountants. We seek to remove our old auditor, who has been doing the job for about 9 or 10 years now, and go to a new independent auditor, merely for governance principles. And on that basis, I'd be seeking that MVA Bennett of Level 5 North Tower 485 Latrobe Street, Melbourne, be appointed as auditor of the association. Mike, on that basis now, we have to run an electronic poll on this as part of the COVID omnibus regulations. So can I throw to you, please?
Peter, if you could just talk to us, we'll find out the results of our voting, but you stay where you are too, Clive.
Yeah. Thanks,
Peter.
Michael. Well, I've analysed the results of the voting. There are 44 votes cast by people voting at the meeting. There's a requirement that 75% of those voting support the resolutions. And I can say that 41 of those voting do support all 3 resolutions. There were 3 against. So for me, those 3 resolutions are carried as special resolutions.
Great. Thanks, Peter. Thank you so much. Peter Crawford there as our legal counsel at VicParks. Mitchell from
Hello.
Park Pods. G'day, mate. Welcome.
Yep. Can you hear me? All right. Is that all right?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can
Perfect.
indeed.
Hello.
Welcome to the mini conference.
Thank you.
Tell me about Park Pods. How long have you been in operation?
Park Pods started about 2017 here in the Torquay area, and yeah, we manufacture unique style cabins for caravan parks.
You certainly do. Let's have a look at this. This is your website here.
Yep.
The Megapod, I know you want to talk about specifically, but if we'll just go to the homepage there, look at that. The revolution in park accommodation.
That's them, yeah.
That's a very sexy building. How long would it take from order to on-site and dug in?
It depends on the model and the pod size, but typically we can craft one of our megapods, as you mentioned, the bigger one, between 5 and 6 weeks, and yeah, it's fully back of the truck, ready to go, land on site, and a few connections, and it's ready to go basically.
Fantastic. Let's look at the internals there, and particularly the Megapod. Did you tell me the other day that this is your bestseller?
It is, particularly the one with the ensuite. So From the feedback we've got from Parks, that's definitely the way that we're going, and we're pumping out a few more of those than anything else. So yeah, the Megapod's our biggest seller.
Fantastic. Is this sorry, I'm just adding you to the mix there. Is this an Australian design, or is this product that you're importing from overseas, or how's that work?
It's got some influence from overseas, but all the materials, everything is handcrafted. They come raw materials to our workshop and handcrafted by us to what you see there. So I guess it's an environmental product, and most of the materials are sourced locally as well. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
And when you say locally, where is your headquarters?
Around the Torquay Geelong area. So yeah, we've got a workshop there, and it's a perfect little operating environment. So it's good. Yeah.
Beautiful. And I believe you wanted to focus on this special that you've had for a wee while, but it is still available.
Yes. Many of you might have seen in the latest VicParks digital magazine, our Megapod special, which entails a simple 30% deposit. Oh yeah, it's on the screen there now. And the balance due over 36 or 48 months. So it was in the magazine till November the 1st, but I'd like to extend that to the end of the year. So 31st of December, 2020. Yeah, if people want to capitalize on that, we're happy to run that promotion. So
fantastic. Yeah. That is awesome. How was the last few months in terms of business for Park Pods?
Yeah, I think we were no exception from the global crisis. And as you just saw in the presentation by Steve and Scott, we experienced a bit of a downturn as from the knock-on effect, I guess, from the parks suffering. So yeah, it's been a little bit difficult, but it's given us the opportunity to catch up on a few things. Like Bianca said before, we've finalised orders, improved workshops, redone drawings, just general maintenance things that sometimes you don't get an opportunity to cover. So yeah, we're looking to bounce back, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, cool. And I believe you have a prize for us to give away.
Yes. Yeah, we were going to give away one of our bark pods as well. Some of you may remember from the 2019 conference, I think you did the draw, didn't you, Michael? Yeah, we gave away one of our bark pods then and there. So we're doing that again this year.
Fantastic.
It would be nice to be there in person at a conference, but yeah, I think this is equally as good.
Thank you so much. I'll tell you a little later how we're going to give that away, but thanks so much for joining our meeting today.
No worries. Thanks for the time.
Cheers, Mitch. Cheers. All the best, mate. Just let me put you back into our gallery as I entice you with that. That is going to be one of our two major prizes for a quiz later on. We're going to do a short quiz, and the winner of which will have a choice of two prizes, that being one of them. Let us segue now and meet the lovely, there she is, Helen Jeggers. An owner of a $100 Bunnings voucher, but also of Best Friend Holiday Retreat. Welcome, Helen. Now, you are part park owner, but also part at the hospital.
That's correct. So my husband and I run a holiday park as our business, as owners, but I also have my own career at the hospital.
Let's look at how bookings are going over this coming summer. How is it working for Best Friend Holiday Retreat?
Look, I think there's been a little bit of uncertainty in the market, certainly being based in Victoria, people being unwilling. So we probably don't have as many bookings as we normally would moving into this time of year. However, from the Premier's announcement yesterday about the restrictions on interstate travel being lifted, just yesterday we took 21 bookings. So I think things are really looking up.
That's fantastic. That is good, isn't it? In one day. So you can only expect, as the word gets around more, that are people in there. I'm curious, what's your capacity of Saturday night? How many humans and dogs can you have on site?
So we're actually quite a small park, Michael. We have 8 cabins, And we have fenced sites here at our park, which is a dog-friendly feature that allows dogs to roam freely while people are either camping or caravanning. And we have approximately 25 sites.
Okay. Now, we met about 3 years ago or so when you joined the conference for the first time, because you'd only just become not only a VicParks member, but into this world of caravan parks only for about 6 months. Can I ask you, how has your journey been, to use that well-used word, that journey been over the last 3.5 years, but particularly with that association of being a VicParks member?
Yeah, so my husband and I had never really had much to do with the tourism industry at all. We found ourselves on holiday at a beautiful holiday park in Gippsland and decided to buy it. So we came in probably really naively with no experience running any business, let alone a holiday park, and quickly found ourselves floundering. I think it's probably good we didn't know what we didn't know, otherwise we might not have done it. But we were very blessed in our first few months to have a visit from Adrian and Mark Cove from Ballarat Big Four Windmill Park. And they actually came and stayed as guests in our park. And Adrian was amazing. She took one look at our big paper calendar that we scribbled on and the notepad we wrote bookings in, and she said, "Have you heard of RMS?" And she said to me, "Are you guys VicParks members?" And that really opened the door for us in terms of incredible opportunities and support that we so desperately needed. Suffice to say, without VicParks, we may not still be operating. And I think that was really highlighted during COVID, those snapshots when they'd come into the email box from Scott, you would just zoom right in because you knew that would give you they were so informative, so timely, absolutely invaluable.
That's fantastic. And you mentioned Rogerson Kelly that you had Rogerson Kenny that you had an association with that again helped you get up to speed.
Yeah, absolutely. So Rogerson Kenny, we've had Mark Rogerson working with us, and it's been amazing. They offer so much more than accountancy. With their experience with the park industry, they were able to, they've come out and actually visited our park, which we're in the middle of nowhere. We don't even have mobile phone reception, but they came out to walk around the park. But we've had their support in terms of developing a park strategy, in terms of marketing. They've just assisted us at every possible turn. And so that's been pivotal in the success of our business moving forward.
That is fantastic. That is very good and very timely because our next guest is from Rogerson Kenny. But thank you so much, Helen. Congratulations on your surprise $100 Bunnings voucher. And that is such great news that you had some bookings yesterday. And I'm sure if we get you off the phone and out of the hospital and back to the park, you'll have some more indeed. I hope the summer is a terrific one for you. She's nodding. You can use the word.
Thank you.
There you go. The life of Zoom. As I mentioned, Rogerson Kenny is business accountants and clearly working with the stars, such as Helen and many of you, I'm sure. Rob, are you with us?
Yep, I'm here, Michael. How you going?
I'm very fine, mate. Thanks for your time this morning. This afternoon now. Tell me about Rogerson Kenny. Nice background.
Nice background. Yeah, it's not too bad. Okay. Our practice has been around since the early 70s. Peter Rogerson started our practice, and we've grown from a sole practitioner firm to now 30 odd staff, 2 partners, and had a really good, I suppose, a unique or specialisation within the caravan park industry over, I think it's about 20 or 30 years.
Right. Okay, fantastic. Now, bring us up to speed, if you can, please. We're in pretty tumultuous times. The banks have now brought to an end their very generous deferral time. There's new rules, or new relaxations happening all the time. New rules in depreciation coming in. JobKeeper changes that ultimately finishes in March next year. Can you bring us up to speed in some of these, please.
Yeah, there's a whole lot changing. And look, I think, the situation that we've found ourselves in with COVID is just something that no business has ever experienced, before. And it's really impacted on in so many different ways, whether it's been, your location of your park, bank deferrals, JobKeeper, everything's, kind of been thrown in the pot, and it's thrown a real challenging, situation for everyone. And I think probably the real kind of highlight for us has been everyone's got a unique situation, and I suppose applying JobKeepers and government stimulus and working on cash flows and deferrals and everything is really been on a case by case basis with each kind of individual park or client. We're business accountants as well, and it's been really interesting to see the impact across our entire client base, where some it's been their best periods ever, and some the other end is just it's close the door kind of scenario. So it's been really difficult, but I think where we're at right now is probably there's light at the end of the tunnel. We're there. We've been through the hard stuff. We've had some new budget measures come through, which is probably, really particular to the parks in terms of, looking forward to this kind of 2021 year with just those depreciation, changes in terms of, writing off assets and pooled assets going forward, depending on structures, you may be able to carry back, losses. So I think there's some real, I suppose, opportunity, especially, in the park industry, for this kind of 2021 year to really, I suppose, get some planning in place and, hopefully see the back of this situation that we find ourselves in.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Rob. Thank you very much. Clearly, the there we are. Clearly, the comments that Helen mentioned just before about the great work that Arcade does is echoed throughout the membership. Any prize you might have just in closing? It seems to be the theme of the day that our good associates are continuing to be so generous.
Yes, we'll do the same. We'll put forward a $250 red balloon voucher. So hopefully, if someone can get out and enjoy that at some stage.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Very generous of you. So thank you. Thank you for your presence here today, Rogerson Kenny from Rogerson Kenny Business Accountants. Thanks, Rob Dayton. All the best, mate.
No worries. Thank you.
Cool. Now, I'm going to, in a moment, send you to a breakout room. Now, I know some people didn't enjoy it last time. There's going to be more people in it this time, and you're going to work as a team. I'm going to ask you a question, and the point is that you are going to work as a team. So you go, I think the answer is this, and you should put the answer in. And if you defer, if you disagree, that's not a problem at all. Put your own answer. But at the end of the day, these points all add up. And one person will come out winner, and they get a choice from that $800 pod, but also other prizes later. So let me show you. Look, everyone's logging in already. Have a look at that. You can see there's the code 201454. Fantastic. This is the first question. Have you logged in? Hopefully it's a yes/no answer. Okay. Have you logged in? Yes or no? You've got 20 seconds to answer. Everybody logged in. 8 seconds left. 7. This will just give you an idea of how this works before I send you to your breakout rooms. 3 seconds left. 2. We've got 57 people playing, and they have all logged in. Thank goodness. Okay. Let me show you how the leaderboard works, and whoever is highest in the leaderboard has won themselves that very nice $250 red balloon voucher from Rob at Rogerson Kenny. And the leaderboard is, these points, you'll see them go backwards and then they'll come out again. Yeah, zip. So looks like Samantha and Andrew are neck and neck at the moment. And the first of you to write the answer to this question. Only Andrew and Samantha, please respond. Yeah. And the question
Hang on, I have to get my chat box.
Open your chat box. Andrew, open your chat box. Yep. This is the question.
Yep, done.
Mitchell earlier from Park Pods is giving a bark pod worth how much? That's the question. $800 from Samantha. Well done. You haven't won that. You have won a $250 red balloon voucher from the generous people at Rogers and Kenny. Okay, let's move on. This is what we're going to spend some time on now. And this is On the Couch. Okay, this is On the Couch. This is where you get to ask these three fine gentlemen some questions, whether it's Scott, Sam, or Steve. So now let me see what I can do. Sam's nodding his head. How are you, Sam Cohen?
Very good, thanks, Michael. Where's the Richmond scarves for Scott and I?
That's true. I should have absolutely done that.
And the Geelong scarf for Steve, I think.
Wash your mouth out.
So to the rest of you, these three guys are we kind of assigned 10 minutes for this. We're no doubt running over, but we'll spend a few minutes on any questions you might have. Obviously, this is about VicParks at the moment, so flag it now in the participants box. Raise your hand, and I'll ask you a question. While people are getting their thoughts together, gentlemen, any thoughts on the latest thoughts and thinking about opening up and so forth? Any announcements from Dan that's made an impact on our members?
Scott?
Nice handball, Steve.
Yeah, yesterday's announcement was important. Obviously, we can't lose sight of the fact that the Ring of Steel, the intrastate travel ban, will be removed, but it won't be removed for 2 weeks. So call that what you like, a new level of certainty, but not absolute certainty. It was good to get some feedback already that parks have been taking bookings for dates beyond the 8th of November. Fantastic. We have been in this position before, I know, and I know refunds of having to be given for people that booked with you for Grand Final weekend and Cup weekend coming up, which has been disappointing given that we're in step 3, along with the opening of retail and hospitality and various other things under his original Metropolitan roadmap. But we can sort of reflect on that all we like. What we've got before us is an unambiguous intention to remove that ban as at 11:59 on the 8th of November. So obviously on balance, that's absolutely fantastic for those parks that require bookings from people out of Melbourne to make a buck. The 25k zone will be gone within the week too. That's good for Metro Parks. So look, all in all, it's good. We can all see the numbers. They're favourable towards a reopening of the community and the economy. So thank goodness for those blessings, and it's onwards and upwards for a safe and successful summer, I hope. We all hope.
Sure. Here's a question again to the membership. By all means, buzz in with your raised hand, and I'll stop a couple that I've got planned here and go to you. But here's a question for you, Sam. Can you update members on your ongoing discussions with DELWP about the sunsetting regulations and possible RTA changes?
Sure, thank you, Michael. So that's DELP, the Department of Environment, Land, Water and Planning. As some of you may be aware, the caravan park regulations were due to expire in the middle of last year. They've now been pushed out with no changes, but with a notional expiry date of the end of June 2023. And that's allowing DELP the opportunity to have a look at the Residential Tenancies Act with the possibility of changing some categories and definitions. You may remember, if you're at the AGM last year, we spoke about this and what perhaps their intention is to perhaps open up the categories and allow for some unregulated camping or caravanning to occur. We're still fairly firmly, resisting and fighting that one, albeit we are in a position to have to work with them. What does all that mean? There'll be no changes to the Residential Tenancies Act, I don't think, until the very end of next year, and certainly no changes to the caravan park regulations in the middle of 23. So it's business as usual, and VicParks is working very strongly to advocate on the behalf of the industry with DELP. I hope that was somewhat clear.
It was very clear, absolutely. As soon as you enlightened us what DELP meant, it was much clearer. A&R Brown, I see your hand up. So if you could please unmute yourself and speak, we'll find you.
Yes, hi. I just wanted to ask, there's an article in the Gippsland Times about a bill that's above in the upper house, I think, about, I'll read, the controversial legislation to amend the Land Act to permit camping on Crown land adjacent to waterways. 30,000 kilometres of Crown land with river frontages is being proposed to have camping and fishing.
Yep.
I'm assuming VicParks is aware of this. Is there something that we can lobby about?
Yeah,
we don't want.
Thanks, Rachel. We have been aware of that for some time, and we've been lobbying in the background on that. And indeed, we're trying to enlist the co-support of Victorian Farmers Federation, who are against it as well. And this was one of those things sort of dropped on us by government, and there was sort of no party policy platform that we could find on it. But we're rolling that over into our discussions with DWELP in particular in relation to the regulations. So two-step approach. And Scott or Sam, you might want to have a quick talk about the regulations as well as to how we're going to encompass that argument, and indeed discussions in relation to getting BDO to provide us some stats with our discussions going forward with government.
So just briefly with BDO, BDO do a lot of work in relation to the industry with statistics and data and financials, and they're certainly supporting the association right now and preparing some submissions that will go into DELP. One of them is a bit of a review of the of the bushfire incidents that happened earlier on this year, and another one is also to look at our response to COVID. And we're taking both of those issues on as an opportunity to demonstrate to the Department of Environment, Land and Water and the government more generally that having a regulated, registered and compliant members in the association is really what is best for consumer protection. Allowing for the opportunity for free camping or camping on Crown land or in farm stays or things like that presents an enormous risk to consumers in our mind. And that's probably one of the main fronts that we're trying to approach this on, to get a very moderated view from DELP if and when those regs change in 2023 or something.
And Steve did mention that we are lobbying in the background. We've got our lobbyist actively onto the issue. His immediate thought was that seemed untenable unless there was something in return to caravan park operators, for example, where if there's no compensation in effect for you to be looking after another risk that is otherwise or ought not otherwise be in your purview, then government need to recognise that in some effective and fair way, at the very least, if there was to be amendments to that legislation passed by Parliament. So this is an example of something where, when you've got a strategy and you're looking further ahead than what's immediately around you, that we would hope in future to be able to influence government at an early stage. In this case, we're actively lobbying at a reasonably late stage on this, but together with allied organisations, we hope to make a difference. There is a petition out there on the parliamentary website. It might be, Steve, I might send that petition around to members via snapshots this afternoon, even to and encourage people to sign up. I think there were 3,000 signatures there about a week ago, and we should encourage everybody to jump on there and add your name to it.
Yeah. So hopefully that answers the question, Rachel, but yes, we are onto it. And indeed, I've been having some chats to a couple of water boards as well who administer those waterways, who are not in favour of it either. So we will we'll keep you posted on how we go with it.
Alrighty. Can I add one more question? There's no more hands up, so let's make this one the last one. And Scott, there is an opportunity to convince DELP, the state government, to instigate some one-off financial relief for park operators at the moment. Is that correct?
Yeah, as Sam and I were on a call from DELP, and it was a little out of the blue, and we were pleasantly surprised with their attitude towards us. And I think kudos to Sam in particular, and those that have come before me, that the relationship with at least that department within government is sufficiently strong that they would ask us to consider what financial, in particular, financial relief we might seek through DELP that might provide some benefit to our members over the next 12 months or so. So they asked us to consider things one-off that have that are straightforward in nature, not a complex issue. That would be that councils would be in a position to agree to, given that we're talking about almost certainly financial impact on them, and that wouldn't affect the safety of your park operations. And the Committee of Management a week or so ago considered that these sorts of things might be suitable for ongoing discussion with them. The suspension or withdrawal of the 2020 registration fee, refund 12 months worth of paid registration fees, the deadline extension or penalties removed for critical works agreed to with council due to funds being unavailable to undertake those works. Potentially all council-owned parks to be provided with rent relief. I understand some have had that relief. Some have had some and some have had none. So they're the sorts of things that we, early stages, but we tossed around a week or so ago, and we'll fine tune over the next couple of days and advise DELP accordingly. But as I say, a good indication of the relationship between this association and that government, an important government department.
Sorry to cut you off. Fantastic. Last question actually comes from Miguel. Miguel, hello, sir. Welcome.
Howdy. Just on the same line of questioning, Scott, has there been any further comment of the possibility of the cancellation support fund extending for the fact that we're going to miss in regional Victoria, going to miss the Melbourne Cup weekend?
Yeah, I got off the phone from our lobbyist just before this conference started. He said there's good news and there's bad news, and I'll give you the bad news first, because the bad news is going to be overwhelmed by the good news. The bad news is we shouldn't expect a version 3 of the cancellation refund scheme. And the reason why we shouldn't expect a version 3 is because there is going to be such a significant government support program for our industry announced very shortly as to render that largely irrelevant. In pressing the lobbyist about what that might look like, and he got straight off the phone from Minister Pakula, knowing that Minister Pakula would know that we would be interested in this, and the lobbyist knew that we had this forum today where this was likely to be asked. Thanks, Mig. In pushing him, I wanted to know whether that meant a significant marketing spend for Victorian tourism, or it meant a program designed specifically to support caravan park operators over the next whatever period. He wasn't willing to go there, but he sounded, he sounded very confident that it was something that members will, once announced, gravitate to and be very thankful for. He's an ALP-aligned lobbyist. He's going to talk it up, but I think we can be reasonably confident that in the very near future we'll get some very good news out of government that directly supports our industry, but not that specific program anymore.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I like this format. I wish we had more time in the meeting for this kind of four-way chat. And thank you for those couple of questions that came in. I'll let you gentlemen retreat to the background as I flag that we have just 3 more guests that we want to talk to, but I didn't say this right at the start because I wanted to keep it for this moment. We have another annual membership giveaway, as in next year's fees, when they come up, one of you won't have to pay it because it is going to be given away totally randomly as a gift right at the very end, okay? It won't require questions or chat boxes or anything. We've got another way of doing it. You just need to be with us at the end. So let's get to the end really quickly by welcoming Todd Devine. Now, I know many of you would know the great work of Todd Devine Homes because you have their beautiful cabins in your parks. Please make some noise, Mr. Devine. Clive Ackerman. Where are you, Clive?
I'm here, Michael. How are you?
Oh, I'm very fine. Let me find you. Keep talking, please, if you will.
I'm here. Hope everyone is having a good day, and hello to everybody else that's out there.
Yeah, cool. Briefly tell us, for those who don't know, about Todd Devine Homes. How long's it been in operation? How long have you been with them?
I've only been with Todd Devine Homes since around April this year, so relatively new to them. But Todd Devine Homes themselves have been going since around about 2000 or 2001, I believe, and have been involved and have had a relationship with VicParks as well since, I think it was December 2005. So our relationship and association with VicParks goes way back, and I think many of the people that are online today would be familiar with Todd Devine Homes, as you've said. In my time, I've only obviously had a very brief window period where I could actually visit any of the parks, and I was pleased to see a lot of our product out there, and also pleased to see how well they've stood up, some across many years. So it was very good to see, but I think there has been a bit of, things have changed for us over the last while, but we're certainly here and we're certainly good to go.
Fantastic. And you're clearly good to go. Have a look at this beautiful product that many of the people online with us today would be experiencing. These, while they look very bedded in, these look very now and modern. These aren't 20-year-old cabins, are they?
Correct. Those I think, especially the two-story cabins, those I think have only been in place since about 2016. But I think it speaks to, something that Todd Devine has always been very willing to do, and that is to listen to the clients, find out what they want, really get into their parks and try and bring a product to them that really meets their demands and speaks to the times as well. We can do everything custom if that is required. Obviously, we do have a number of floor plans that would work and have shown us that do work for most park owners. But again, if it's something that's custom that's required, we are certainly party to doing it.
I tell you what, Clive, when I looked at these photos that you sent me on Friday, and anyone can use this as a marketing idea, I'll give it to you for free. What was in my mind is it's kind of like all the comforts at home, but in a different location. Like, and forgive me, jump in someone if you go, yeah, we've used that 1,000 times. But that idea, as a punter living in suburban Melbourne, I love my home, but it's no place to have a holiday in my home. So what Todd Devine Homes offer me is the opportunity of all those luxury. So look at that kitchen. It's fantastic. All of that, but in the fantastic locations that you as park owners have. So that idea of all the comforts of home, but in a new location, would be good if you can offer this kind of accommodation. It is fantastic. I believe another part of your work with Todd Devine Homes is in lifestyle communities.
Correct. So we have a very strong relationship with lifestyle communities, and I think at present we're delivering around. It's in excess of 400 homes a year for lifestyle and for their various communities across Victoria. So we're very proud of that, and we work very closely with them, and certainly a lot more coming in the coming years. I think we're looking to get to the point of delivering around 700 homes or so. I speak a lot under correction, but it is probably at the moment the backbone of our business, and that to a small degree may have probably shifted the focus a little for the better of the company, obviously, but it certainly does, allow us the flexibility in our products and what we're learning from that, and certainly in terms of the quality of the product that we're producing. And I think, as you've mentioned, when you're looking at the cabins and some of those pictures that we've sent to you, it is more like a home, and a lot of that experience has come from what we've done with lifestyle communities.
Absolutely. And you also flagged that next year, 2021, Todd Devine Homes are going to have a charity connection of sorts?
Correct. So we sat down. Todd spoke to us a couple of weeks back and said that he was really eager to do something for charity. He has always had that sort of streak in him, I guess, in terms of wanting to work with charities and give back. That's the nature of Todd Devine himself, and we're trying to team up with a charity yet to be chosen. We've narrowed it down to about 2 or 3 different charities we want to work with, You know, the charities themselves have also felt the effects of what 2020 has been, and Todd has decided that he wants to give something back. So we're looking at something that's going to benefit a caravan park owner. We're going to start having discussions. We have had one or two already, and we'll continue to do those over the coming weeks, and hopefully have it buttoned up by the end of the year. Ideally, Todd Divine Homes wants to donate around about $100,000 to charity next year. It's probably going to be in one foul swoop that it'll be done, and we're really excited about it. And hopefully we can get someone, you know, maybe someone on the call today that might be interested in this, and I'm quite happy to speak offline to anybody that wants to discuss it and see how they can be involved.
Fantastic, Clive. Well, that's great. That's going to be such a win-win experience for that you're rolling out. Clive, back to you. What prize might you give to one of our good people?
We decided to make it something a little bit more exciting, I guess. You know, not to say that any of the prizes that have come before this have not been that, but
yeah, got out of trouble there.
Something as a bit of an experience. So you know, I know it's something that we've had the fortune of being experiencing it internally within Todd Divine Homes, but we've decided to give away a helicopter flight for 2 over Geelong and the Barwon River. It is, you know, I think it's a pretty good experience. We did lobby it around the company a little, and a few different experiences we looked at, and we thought that might be something really different and something to remember.
Fantastic, absolutely. And we're going to give it away right now in a treasure hunt. Okay, so get yourself ready. We did this the other day, and people said, oh, you asked for things like pajamas that I don't have in my office. So the 5 items you need to get are all both accessible at home and also in an office, if I'm right in thinking what an office is like. So get yourself ready. You need to find all 5 items. You need to then come back to your desk, and you need to be the first person who writes Mike in the chat box. Okay? It's as simple or as difficult as that. As soon as you see what the next things are, you can go for it. Let me get a bit of music going. This is it. Off you go. A ball of any kind, something green, some keys, some scissors, and some toilet paper. Off you go. Any kind of ball, anything that's mainly green, some keys, a pair of scissors, and some toilet paper. Off and running. Off and running. Oh, wow. Someone's come back already. Goodness me. Nansen Steve Wiedemann.
Unmuted.
Hello, sir. Show us your item. Show us the ball of some sort.
Hang on. Get in front of the camera.
Sorry, is that a ghost of a previous wife that's coming in and out there?
There we go. It's
Yes,
a billiard ball.
Yes, that's good. A billiard ball. Very nice.
Yeah.
Something primarily green. Toilet paper. Yes, thank you, mate.
And that's green.
Yes, what's green?
The colour of it. Hang on.
Perhaps you could turn off your virtual background. Just
We will.
How's
that? Okay. Right. Primarily green.
Yeah. Oh, 2 in 1.
Baby.
Oh, I'll go with his shirt. Scissors and keys. Quick.
Scissors and keys.
Oh, good on you. Congratulations. You're off on a helicopter ride. Clive, tell us again where they're off to.
So the helicopter ride is, it takes it from Geelong, and it goes over Geelong and the Barwon River.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
More than welcome.
That is great. That is great indeed. All right, let's move things along. Thanks again so much, Clive, and Todd Divine Homes there. There we go. Valley View Caravan Park. Hello, Sue. Can you ID yourself, please?
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Okay, thanks.
G'day, Sue. Welcome, and thanks for your patience to be our second to last guest on the day today. How are things working out for you in King Valley at the moment?
A little bit quiet. The phone's been going red hot since the change yesterday, but a lot of it's been cancellations for this weekend because I think our Melbourneites were keeping their fingers crossed to hopefully come up.
What we spoke the other day, and I'd like you to tell just briefly the story again. The lessons learnt from the summer bushfires of 2019-20. Tell us about that, please.
Well, last year we had to act on our evacuation plan. We realised the plan we had in place did work. We discovered that there was one glitch. We did not factor into our plan that some guests had been drinking and couldn't drive. once we received the evacuation notice, and so did our guests by text, of course, a bit of anxiety levels went through the roof. We went around the park and spoke to each site. Some who had not been drinking were able to pack up and they left that night. In regards to the other guests, we advised them to pack up, hook up and take their phones to bed with them. And they all left the next morning. We also found out the next morning that the police were going to come in and evacuate the town that afternoon. So we were glad we had an empty park with no guests.
I bet. But that's great, isn't it? That you had a plan in place and it proved, you know, to be very effective, but you've able to learn from that. And so, you know, in the event of it happening again, you'll activate it even better.
And I think we'd be a lot calmer if it happened again too.
Yeah, because you've experienced. It's one thing to have all the plans in the world, but actually living it through is a great learning curve. I've left you as the last guest, Parky, to talk to, because I love the good news story that you've got about your learning, I guess, in marketing, particularly Instagram. Tell us that story.
Yeah, well, we think it's important that parks actually advertise their park news with anything changing. We created a post. We got 2 cabins delivered on the 26th of March, which was the day we shut down, but anyway. And we posted that on Instagram as well as sharing it with our Facebook. It actually reached over 18,300 people. We're only a small independent park. We've got 75 sites. So it shows, if you get the word out, sometimes how far it can travel, whether it be people sharing your posts or, you know, just people's involvement with, with new cabins, look. So that was great.
That is great. Yeah, that's fantastic, Sue. I remember hosting your conference, I reckon about 4 or 5 years ago, and we had some expert come in and tell us about the power of social media, the low cost and the reach that social media is doing. And I'm like you guys and girls, at that time you go, it's all, that was some years ago. Look how easily you've now embraced it, and that reach that you're getting. It's fantastic that that things are changing and we're all changing with it. Also, you mentioned, you flagged last year that it's not just about you, as well as you and your cabins, you also post about the environment and the location that you're in.
Yeah, we're in such a beautiful area in the King Valley, which is north of Mount Mansfield, south of Wangaratta. We've got beautiful mountains surrounding us, and we're in the valley. And as you can see from that photo behind you, it's a beautiful spot to actually just chillax and unwind. Because we're not like a big park, or, you know, it's a smaller town, and it's a different environment.
That's right. And see, that's what you offer that no other park does, because you're in that location. There might be another one 5 Ks away, but they're in that location. I'm just tying together what I said before about, you know, all the comforts of home, but in a better, more holiday friendly location. Fantastic. Thanks, Sue, for sharing with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
I have just one more guest to interview, and then we're going to give away some prizes. Okay, one more guest from All Parks Insurance, and then we're going to do a very quick quiz. Someone's going to win some awesome prizes, and then we're going to give away next year's fee for membership of the association. And so I invite Julie Pernica from All Parks Insurance. Hey, Julie, keep talking if you will, and I'll spotlight you, as it's called.
I'm over in my little office in Wyong with the sun finally shining after some flash flooding yesterday.
Oh dear. Hang on, let me remove my spotlight. Keep talking to me. How damaged was the flash flooding?
Well, we've had some big storms through, some roofs off, some cars submerged. So it's definitely a different world out here at the moment. The weather's challenging every day, something different.
Oh dear. Wow. From one good news about Instagram followers to some bad news about rain. Can you clear up some rumours going around? Parks can't get insurance, and if they can, it costs a fortune. How much of that is true?
There's a lot of truth to that, not just on behalf of All Park, but from every insurance company. the market has changed. The last 6 months has been very challenging. I think the large insurers didn't forecast the bushfires, and then we've had COVID, we've had cyclones, we've just had a really bad 12 to 24 months in the insurance world. So nobody really wants to dabble their feet in the water anymore. So it's such a challenge to convince the large insurers that, for me, the caravan park space is a good space to be in. And insurance is a gamble, so we have to be there through the good and the bad. But in London last year, there was probably 24, 25 different companies I met with, and they just don't find insurance attractive anymore if you're in a bush area or you're in a cyclone area. For me, it doesn't matter if you're in bush or cyclone, everybody should have the right to get insurance. I don't like the fact there's businesses out there that simply cannot get insurance. I think you should be able to have an option to the caravan parks or any type of business. Yes, the price might not be what they were hoping for, but at least they've got something to protect their assets. If you don't offer insurance, they've got nothing. And it might not be from storm or bushfire. It could be an accidental damage claim or malicious damage claim that's out of their control, and they've got no protection. So it's very challenging, it's very upsetting, it's very frustrating. But from my perspective, I'm constantly fighting with bigger people over in London and in Singapore because I still push for change. And yes, it's a rough patch now, but I'm hoping to keep pushing through those barriers and get something out there for everybody that we can. It might not be through my company, but at least I can direct them in the right direction.
I can remember after 9/11, insurance premiums went through the roof for all kinds of things, everything from, the children's farm that came to a primary school to, show off goats. Suddenly premium went crazy. Is the premium rises that you're seeing now, do you suspect that in X years time, it'll all flatten out, we'll all get normal, get more sensible, or whatever the words are?
The last few years it became like a soft market, so a lot of premiums were having smaller increases and rolling over. There wasn't much movement, but now, because there's new weather events that are happening, the insurance rating tools are trying to prepare in case that happens again. So they need to make sure the insurance industry can fund those type of claims. So now they're re-rating, reanalyzing all types of business. I think the next probably 24 months, it's going to keep going up. If you've got the option to have insurance, it will continue to rise in the high risk areas, and then it should start to plateau. But unfortunately, you'll also see a lot of reductions in cover. There's a lot of people that don't want to do liability for water slides or jumping pillows or prevention of access and things like that. So your premiums may go up, but your cover may also reduce.
Right.
That's not ideal. In the past, if your excess went up, for instance, your premium would come down. But now your excess is going up and your premium is going up.
I think that's an example of a lose-lose. Last question, how do you think COVID is going to affect this sector?
Look, if you'd asked me this in March or April, a lot of the parks from all over Australia were struggling. They were pouring their hearts out, ready to close the door. Now, June, July and onwards, they can't believe it. It's been such a turnaround for their business. Their trade is booming outside of Victoria. So the Victorian parks, I know it's challenging and they need to stay strong, because I've seen what happens on the other side when you come out of it. These parks are fully booked well into next year. No one's travelling overseas. People aren't travelling interstate. They're exploring their own hometowns. So just ride it out that little bit longer. And I do see that you're going to see the change. People are going to appreciate their own cabins and tent sites more than a hotel block and things as well. The type of travel will change.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's a good message and a good thought to end on. Thank you so much, Julie Pernica, and thanks for your involvement from All Parks Insurance today. All the best.
Thank you.
Okay, we're in the home stretch, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to ask you four quick questions. We're going to find a winner who's going to win. Oh, sorry, Julie, back to you. You've got a prize for someone.
Yes, I wanted to think of something that would help everybody, whatever circumstance they were in. So I thought if we could put forward $500 cash, maybe they can treat themselves to something special, or just a quiet night in with a nice bottle of wine, or whatever they want to do. It's for them to spend how they wish.
I tell you what, I don't know where you're shopping. That's a serious good bottle of wine for $500. That is awesome. Thanks again, Julie. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay, so get your phones out for the very last time. We're not going to go back in the breakout rooms. You're going to do it by yourself. we're going to have a winner and a second person, and the winner gets to choose from your choice. Do you want the $500 cash from All Parks Insurance, or would you rather the $800 bark pod from Mitchell, from Park Pods? So that winner gets those choice. The runner-up gets the other one. And for the winner, whoever was in that initial group, and I've got to tell you of who those people are, you'll all get a Hagues voucher as well. Here we are. The next question is, let's have a look at the winner. The leaderboard says those points. Now, these points are going to be what was just won in that last question. We add those and we find Travis has come out of the background. Travis and Marianne and Peter. So I'll talk to Marianne and Peter in a second, but Travis, if you could unmute yourself, please, and say hello. No audio. Travis Johnson has sent me a message saying no audio. Goodness me. Travis, please signify, would you like a beautiful $500 to spend on a serious bottle of wine from All Parks Insurance, or would you like the $800 bark pod? What would you like? He's typing. Be quick. The $500 it is. So Samantha, Marianne and Peter, if you can unmute yourself and say hello. Hello, Marianne and Peter. Let me spotlight you for everyone. There you go, guys. How are you? Good on you. Marianne and Peter Brum, you are the proud owners of an $800 bark pod.
Thank you, Travis.
You're very welcome. They're happy about that. That is awesome. Fantastic. As I said, now I have just one more thing to do, and that is to give away a membership for next year. But before I do that, Scott, any final words from you, sir?
Thanks, Michael. I just wanted to thank everybody for participating today. I know taking time out of what is surely a busy day, and looking forward to many more busy days. Your support of VicParks continues to be absolutely fantastic. So thank you, and well done to all our prize winners. I also wanted to thank you, Michael, MC extraordinaire. You've done this, or a version of this, a real conference, for many, many, many years now. And we're very happy to call on you wherever we can to help entertain our members and to facilitate just generally things like this. Well done. Thank you. Thank you to Lorraine for helping put this together. Thank you to Steve and Sam for their thoughts about this event and Conference 1. Most importantly, thank you very much to our sponsors sitting there over your right shoulder. Michael, Park Pod, CRE Brokers, Rogerson Kenny, Todd Devine Homes, and All Parks Insurance. Don't forget them when you need something or some advice. They're associate members of VicParks because they're trusted brands. So don't hesitate to contact them whenever you need something that they can provide. And two more things, finally. Well done to Kate in being accepted, her nomination onto the Committee of Management. We look forward to working with you and will value your contribution, no doubt, on our committee. And finally, good luck to everybody. I hope your summer, your pre-summer, is long, successful and safe. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you very much. Okay, awesome. The Hagues chocolates go to everyone who are in Travis Johnson's room, and that's room 8. Alice McLaughlin, John and Sue Remen, Karen Anderson, Mike Piercy, and Rosalind Mitchell. You are going to get some chocolates because you were in that initial group with Travis Johnson. Fantastic. All right. Now, this is a simple wrap up. What I have here on my phone is a random number generator. You see, when I press the buttons there, it makes numbers. Okay. And what I have here is, what I have here is an Excel spreadsheet of everyone who is in attendance today, their name and their parks. You can see that. And on the far left, there are numbers. Forgive me if you can't see it as clearly as I can, but you've got the idea. What I'm going to do is press this 3 times, and the third time, whatever number that is, I'll look at the Excel spreadsheet, and the person who is that position gets their membership paid for next year. And it is Annie Mack from Pakenham Caravan Park. Congratulations, Annie Mack from Pakenham Caravan Park. You are going to be contacted by Lorraine, and she will make it all happen for you next year. So when your fees are due, you've got a freebie for 1 year. So thank you, everyone. Apologies for going long, part of the thing is the number of buttons that I'm pressing here. I think next time Steve should come and join me in the room and we can press each other's buttons, so to speak. Have a safe Christmas. And I know when the business is up and running, you're going to be fantastic hosts, as you have done for many years, whether you're newies and new to Vic membership just in the last year or so, or you've been going long and strong for many, many years. 2020 is going to be a horrible year. We're going to look back on it until the day we die and say, wow, what a year it was. But fingers crossed, as someone articulated in the meeting, the focus is going to be back into tourism within Victoria, which is only good news for you. I know I've booked my holiday in country Victoria in January, and I look forward to seeing you whenever we might be able to meet again in person in 2021. Keep safe. All the very best. Bye-bye.